Hey, it's Wednesday. It's 9 p.m. It's Loaded Football Weekly. I'm Martin.
I'm Daz.
And I'm Chris.
Run titles, Daz.
You're the joker, the expert, the voice, but you're one of the crowd. A vision of weakness you don't.
Well, we are live. Daz has managed to get the buttons going. Apparently, we're broadcasting. Somebody might want to confirm. First of all, I suppose, welcome. Brand new show, all things football. Hopefully, less Newcastle chat. I think we've heard enough of that. And I suppose the first thing I'd say is to anybody that happens to be watching wherever you are, we've got a lot in common because you don't know what we're going to say. We've no idea what we're going to say. But you've got us for an hour. We're going to wing it a bit. We've hopefully got some good content for you. We're going to talk over a few things tonight, tell you what we're about, tell you what we're going to be doing, and we'll take it from there. So on that note, we'll get into our first section. Over to you, Chris.
Loaded headlines.
Nice.
Yeah?
Sound. Yeah.
Okay.
We are live.
Fantastic.
Yeah?
We are live. So our first section is loaded headlines. And before I go into our first topic, I just wanted to update you all and say that there's two live games going on at the moment that we're following, and that is Fulham at home to Manchester United, and it's just approaching half-time, and it's currently 1-1. We're also following the Scottish Premier League, and Celtic are playing Livingston, and the score currently is Livingston 1, Celtic 2. So throughout the show, we're going to keep an eye on that. But for now, I'll go straight onto the football headlines. So the first topic, which I want to discuss tonight, is Celtic's mid-season trip to Dubai, which has been described as a PR disaster and has set a terrible image for the club. 13 players have been forced to self-isolate after Christopher Julian has tested positive for COVID. Another unnamed player has since tested positive. Lads, what's your views on this?
Oh, are we sure they didn't head out to try and crash at the Geordie Dentist house? No, they were on a camp. I read a bit about it there when it broke, and I know the likes of Nicola Sturgeon's involved, and Scottish government were looking at it. I suppose there's two sides to it. Like Neil Lennon says they were in their own hotel. It was a private flight. The only time they left the hotel was for warm weather training. I suppose the thing for me is it okay because it's an elite sportsman or an elite sports club that they're allowed to clear lockdown, head off to sunnier climes and do what they want, as opposed to the ordinary Joe who's in the house with the wife and the kids driving him up the wall and he's not allowed to go anywhere. So for me, it doesn't necessarily send a great signal. And you kind of have to ask, what are they going to get out of it that they couldn't do with the bit of training back home? For me,
yeah, exactly, Martin. I jump in there as well. What are they doing? It's this COVID. Everybody's on lockdown. This is not the time to be going off on a warm weather training camp or a holiday, by drinking by the pool or whatever. But yeah, and things aren't going great for Celtic as it is. They're not doing great in the league. They're about 21 points behind or so. We know the game is going on, as you mentioned, Chris. But it's not. I know that they have 3 games in hand, but yeah, it doesn't look great for Celtic this year.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Do you think,
agree with you boys? Oh, sorry. Go on, Mark.
No. Go on.
No, I was just going to say I agree with you both. I mean, you've got to take into account, the current situation. I appreciate, they want to try and keep things as normal as possible in professional football. And, they do kind of stand alone in the sense that everything is running the same on the professional football front. But I agree with both of you lads. Really, it feels a little bit unnecessary for me. And, if there's any Celtic fans watching, I apologise. But, the 21 points behind Rangers. So it's not like, it's a close one thing. Maybe it would have been best to just stay at home and concentrate, in their own area.
Yeah, I think from a point of the league, I mean, what's the view, lads? 21 points. Celtic obviously there tonight, so could bring that back to 18. But do you think is the league done? Is it Rangers League, or will we be talking in a few shows about a Celtic comeback, or do we think that that's kind of it's game over this season for the green and white half of Glasgow?
For me, it's game over.
Yeah, it's done. I mean, I'm really pleased for Gerrard. He's been getting a lot of stick, hasn't he? Especially off Chris Sutton saying that he's not been doing a good job up at Rangers. But I think he's done fantastically well, especially if you consider where they were 3 or 4 years ago. He's turned them around big time, hasn't he? And, the squad that Celtic have got for Rangers to be so far ahead, it's good going.
Chris Sutton, we love him. I think it's time to move on. Let's go to our next topic. On that note, let's talk about Mo Salah. So Mo Salah has been saying in the last week or so that I want to stay at Liverpool for as long as I can. Is that a come get me Barcelona, come get me Real Madrid type comment there? He's 100% committed, of course, and he wants to win more trophies and break records at Liverpool. He's currently the top goal scorer in the Premier League, has a contract to 2023, but Liverpool aren't scoring goals this weather. What do you make of that, lads?
Personally, for me, I think Salah has probably come to the end of his time at Liverpool. He maybe doesn't want to say that, and I might be wrong. This is just my opinion, obviously, but he's won the Premier League there, he's won the Champions League there. Will he want to go to a sunnier climate? I mean, we know that a lot of players aspire to end up in La Liga, with the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona. I think if a bid came in and Liverpool accepted it, I think Salah would be there in a shot for me. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I think I know we were talking earlier off screen. There was a bit of chatter about. There's always one. Thanks, Rich. There was a bit of chatter beforehand that apparently Salah was looking for the Liverpool captaincy. But for me, I think how do you take that away from Jordan Henderson? Last season, barring the break in the middle with COVID, I thought Henderson was outstanding as a player for Liverpool. I thought he's a great captain. He leads, not only the club, but he leads on the pitch. So for me, I think Salah would be barking up the wrong tree to get the captaincy. Does he want to go abroad? Maybe. And I think the only thing that might sway that is you're probably looking at the likes of Barca and Real Madrid doing a bit of a rebuild job over the next while, because you look at the two Spanish giants and they seem to be kind of floundering. There's talk with Messi, going to Man City, bit of unrest in the Madrid camp, change of manager. So it's possible that, with Barca and Real Madrid where they are, that maybe it's a destination Salah would like to go to. And it's a big draw, lads. If you get a Madrid or you get that coming in, then I suppose it turns the head. But I think Liverpool, Salah's not the only one. I think Liverpool's front three are all misfiring. So, look, they'll come good though. I think they'll come good. Yeah.
I got onto my researcher today, Liverpool fan, and he explained to me why, I had to cut him off because he'd still be talking to me about it. But yeah, he explained to me that Liverpool are highly reliant on wing backs, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is out of form, and he's crossing in corners. Van Dijk obviously is out, and as we all know, he's injured, and they have the statue in Liverpool for him. The only person ever to get injured. But he was brilliant at bringing the ball forward up for Liverpool as well. My researcher told me, and he was also dangerous set pieces, as I recall as well. And Henderson then has to drop back into the defence, so that he was good at kind of being the link between the midfield and attack. And Firmino is another one that hasn't he did a lot of pressing, but he hasn't really performed this season. So that when all those things are fixed, Liverpool will be back on form again, and I'm sure flying and going for the title.
Absolutely. All said and done, mate. What you've got to remember is as well, obviously Joss is out, and he made a fantastic start to the season, Joss, didn't he? So Joss is injured at the minute, and I think on Monday Night Football, when Carragher and Neville, were talking about the Newcastle Arsenal game, they did a little section on Liverpool, and they were saying, if you think they've been playing together now for 4 years, that front three, and perhaps it is time for a little shake-up and a little change, and maybe they are getting itchy feet. It might not be Salah who goes, it could be Mane, it could be Firmino. Yeah. So, let's not forget, as we were discussing before the show, they've scored, 1 goal in the league since they beat Palace 7-0 on the 19th of December. That's just doesn't sound like Liverpool.
West Brom.
It's not like Liverpool. I just got one quick question before we move on, Daz. You talked about this researcher. Can I just ask you, we're not paying that person, right? It's sure one, but we're not making nothing yet. Just
he's already on too much money.
Oh, okay,
don't worry
perfect.
about that.
Oh, well. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, let me see. The other thing I wanted to say actually about Mo Salah is, do Mo Salah, Firmino, and Mane, do they actually get on? There's always seems to be a bit of aggro between them. Especially between Mane and Salah. I don't know who is the troublemaker in that camp.
I think Mane. Oh, sorry. Go on, Mark.
Yeah, I was just going to say it could be any one of three. I think with Salah, you're going to get the goals. Mane, will also bring it. I think the odd link out for me is Firmino, and he does get good press, but he's not a regular goal scorer. He's a bit of a streak player for me. So he goes through a bit of a goal scoring streak. He might get 2 or 3, then he goes off the boil again. So I think, maybe that front three, as you said, Chris, maybe that front three is kind of running its course. Maybe Klopp needs to look at slightly different formation with the wing backs and what he does. I don't know, but it certainly strikes me that as a threesome, Firmino for me would be, and again, just my opinion, watching Liverpool, I think he's probably the weaker link of the three for me. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. And I think it's well publicised that Mane and Salah don't get on. Firmino, I think Firmino gets on with everyone, doesn't he? Because he's just permanently grinning. He's got these big pearly white teeth, and obviously Klopp went to the same dentist as well. So, they get on handsomely. But yeah, I mean, as I say, I can't see them staying together much longer because, like I say, there's also rumours about Mbappe, isn't there? That Mbappe rumour won't go away. And obviously, Liverpool signed that massive deal with Nike, didn't they? And Mbappe works very closely with Nike. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was being, lined up in the background.
Yeah, it's good comment there from Keith Roll, just on the comments on the show. Says he can't see Salah going to Barca unless it involves a swap deal with Griezmann. His thoughts is that he would end up at Real Madrid, as they've not really had a top striker since Ronaldo left. Which is a good point. Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another one just there in the comments from a guy we all know and love, John Justice Allen. Evening, John. No, Stato is not our researcher.
No, I thought when you were saying there's somebody we love and know there, I thought you were talking about the researcher. I didn't know we were talking about. I didn't know we were talking about John there. So.
No, I think it's time to move on. Let's go to our next section, which is
loaded transfers.
I love that bit.
we definitely got to get some sound merchant, lads. I can't be doing that every week.
We don't need it.
No expense spared here in this. Okay, lads, I'm going to take you through our first transfer rumor, because there's very little happening in the transfer window. It's January, it's a COVID transfer window, and no one has money. So the first one is Dele Alli. Dele Alli, he's not getting a game at Spurs. Has he fallen out with Jose Mourinho? He's potentially looking at going to PSG to link up with Pochettino. I actually heard something as well about there could be a decision this week on that. He's 24 years old. Came from Milton Keynes. He scored 50 goals for Spurs. And obviously he's a England international. What's your thoughts on that? Is this one going to happen, lads?
For me, it's a Poch reunion. I mean, you'd have to question, why is he not getting a game at Spurs? There's obviously something that Mourinho doesn't see in him. I think if anybody hasn't watched, but you should, the Spurs documentary on Amazon. Very, very early in Mourinho's reign, he sits Dele Alli down and says, he's a poor trainer. He's lazy. He's, doesn't really, excel himself. And, Mourinho doesn't want to be his dad. He wants to be his coach. And so I think for me, there's got to be something with the attitude for me. I would imagine, certainly looking at him, and when he's not playing, I'd say I can imagine he's quite temperamental, and quite, I suppose, huffy is probably the word I would use. So I can imagine just being, he's probably quite a strong voice in the changing room, I would think, with the length of time he's been there. But obviously it's Mourinho's way. So for me, does it get him out to PSG? Poch obviously rates him. So yeah, for me, I can probably see that happening. But where does he fit in with PSG when you look at their lineup? So, but I could see it happening for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's a top player, isn't he? But as Martin says, there's something not right there. There's something wrong. And yeah, Martin, I like you. I've seen the documentary on Amazon, and it was really good. It was it was a bit, well, it wasn't as bad as Sunderland Till I Die, but it was interesting to. Yeah, no, mate, that was, yeah, but that's something else. But it was interesting because obviously it's good to see behind the scenes. And Mourinho, I think Mourinho's been a big fan of Dele Alli for a while. And I remember when he was at Man United, I'm sure Sir Alex Ferguson said to him, Dele Alli is a Man United player. He's a Man United type player, and that's a player I would be going for if I was in the hot seat. Now, obviously, that didn't materialise in the end, and obviously, Mourinho's left Man United. He's then ended up at Tottenham. So when he's gone into Tottenham, he's probably thought, great, I've got a diamond here. This is going to be fantastic. Now, obviously, early doors, he's seen something in training, whether it's attitudes, application, I don't know, but they clearly don't get on. And Dele Alli deserves to be at a top club, because I do think there is a hell of a player in there, but it's about getting the best out of him. I mean, if you remember, towards the end of Poch's reign, it felt like Dele Alli had down tools a bit for Poch as well. So does he like to be big fish in a little pond? And when Eriksen was there and a few others, does he, when he's not the limelight, does he cause problems? Arguably, yeah. I think you can tell he's got that little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he's got that nasty streak, which I know a lot of managers have said they love about him. He's not a wallflower, as he gets stuck in, and I'm sure he's very vocal in the dressing room as well. And he's got quite a close connection with Eric Dyer, hasn't he? So he's probably got that, as Daz said, he's probably got that dominance in the dressing room, and maybe Mourinho's trying to shut that down. And I think he makes that abundantly obvious when he leaves him off the squad. He just doesn't. He doesn't even make the bench, does he?
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on from Dele Alli, lads. But we'll stick with Spurs. If it was one out, would you bring him one in? And I'm talking here about Christian Eriksen. So Christian Eriksen, he went from Spurs to Inter. I think it was a 20 million euro fee. He's not really getting a game at Inter. He played 26, scored 1. Back when he's at Spurs, he played 226 and scored 51. So he definitely shooting boots on. Then he's absolutely brilliant for Denmark. I remember when he played Ireland, he just played us off the park. I'm sure you remember that one as well, Martin. Would you take? There's a quote somewhere as well that Lukaku has identified the language barrier as being a problem for Eriksen. But would you take Eriksen back to Spurs? I'll tell you my piece first. For me, when he was out of coming towards the end of his contract, he didn't really perform for Spurs, or maybe he was thinking also his next move in mind. So he was on a downward trend at that point, and to me it seems to have continued now as he went to Enter. But I don't know. What do you think, guys?
I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, again, going back to the Amazon show, it was really bizarre, wasn't it, Mark? The way that whole transfer got played out, and he couldn't wait. Yeah. He couldn't wait to get out, and it was quite sad, really, because you could tell he was just down. He was very, very professional, very respectful, but he just kept saying to Daniel Levy and Pochettino, "I want to go." Sorry, not Pochettino. Jose Mourinho just kept saying, "Listen, I want to go. My time's up. I've had enough. I want to experience something new. I want to try something new." And then obviously Inter Milan came in with that bid, and for one reason or another, it's just not worked out for him, has it? Which is a shame, because he is a good player, but sometimes things just don't work out. So ideally, you would want him to come back to Tottenham. Whether he would, you would think he'd like to go back, but maybe he'd want to try somewhere else different, because he's going to go back with his tail between his legs, isn't he?
Yeah, For me, Chris, I think it's one of those things. Like when you seen that kind of interaction between him, Mourinho, and Daniel Levy, who in that chat kind of went, listen, we want to get the best price for you. If it's about the money, Spurs will match the money, whatever you're being offered. So Spurs, to be fair, from my view, couldn't have been any better than they were. I think the thing for me at the minute is power. Player power counts for a lot. And you can use Lukaku as the same example, really, lads, which is he kind of down tools for Man United to get a move to Inter Milan, and the shooting boots came back. Eriksen has done similar. There are a lot of players that have done similar. If you look at Griezmann, he did a similar kind of thing at Atletico to get a deal through to Barcelona. So player power has become more prevalent, I suppose, as the game has gone on. And I think the sad thing for me out of a lot of these transfers, the players that go and think that the grass is greener, on the other side of the pitch, is that there's no loyalty to the contract anymore. And a contract is very easily torn up and disintegrated. And I think a good example of what a pro for me and abiding by a contract for me should be is Francesco Totti in Roma. Over 20 years in Roma, one club, only ever had 2 contracts. Unbelievable. Ultimate professional, class goal scorer, emblem for the club. Everything that you want a pro to be, you want to wear a shirt, you want Totti on the back of the jersey. He just does everything. But I think player power, Chris, is just ruining it. I think it's that there is unfortunately no loyalty anymore. And I think a couple of the comments that have been going up there, money talks at the end of the day. And even though Eriksen was told, you can have the same money at Spurs, I think his mind was already set. And I think sometimes it's best for a club at that point to move them on, because I think you start to disenchant the changing room. And if they are a quite vocal player, I think you can start to get into trouble with the squad. So, I think Tottenham did the right thing. Me personally, I wouldn't bring him back to Spurs. I think I would be surprised if Mourinho brings him back. I would be surprised.
Yeah, he's definitely not burnt his bridges, has he? Because, like you say, he's left respectfully. He's left, with the best wishes, and Tottenham have got a price for him. Rather than the club lose him for nothing. He's appreciated that. Obviously, they've got a value, that they want to maintain, and they've got that price for him. He's left on good terms, as I say. So it's not over for him, and he could go back if he wanted. But like you, Mart, I don't know whether. I don't know whether Mourinho would want him back, and I'm not even sure if the player would want to go back himself. Maybe that chapter's over.
Yeah, and I think Spurs have got a decent midfield, so there you go.
Yeah. And Ndombele's this season's been great, hasn't he? He's really picked it up. He's now been moved into the central attacking midfield role, and I think that's where Christian Eriksen used to be a lot of the time. So he's come in, and he's really made a great start this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I've learned from this, lads, is that I need to get Amazon and watch that Spurs documentary. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Okay, I'm going to move on.
And I'm sure that documentary is available on other good wholesalers and other arenas apart from Amazon.
Absolutely.
Hit us up. We'd love to give you a bit of recognition. Let's go to the next one, lads. Next one is Martin, one of your favourite players, the one that you've talked about for I don't know how long. It's this guy.
Oh, there he is.
Jack Wilshere.
There he is.
Okay, Jack.
I tell you what, I hope that Sam is not watching off of our group chat, because every time I say Wilshere, I've been shot down by those girls more times than a Broken Hearts advert. I tell you. Go on.
Let me tell you a bit about Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere joined Arsenal aged 9. No, I think he ran out of steam along the way, but he was a lot of was expected of him when he was young, I guess. He's now 29 years old. He's moved to Bournemouth on loan, initially on loan anyway. He's got 34 caps for England and got 2 goals. For me, it's I class him as a sick note. He's always injured. I know I've heard other names describing him as well, but I know let's go for the obvious question first. Would you have taken him at Newcastle? Martin.
If I say no now, I'm going to look really stupid, and then someone will put up a comment, probably John Justice Allen. So I won't do it and won't give him the credit. Would I have taken him? Yes, I would have, and I tell you, I would have taken him on a pay-as-you-play deal. For the simple reason, even though the injury record that he's had, I still think he would have given us better legs than John Joe Shelvey, and that's all I'll say on him. So yes, I would take him. Chris.
Yeah, to be honest, Martin, I agree with yourself. I would have taken him on a pay-as-you-play deal because we currently have another player on a pay-as-you-play deal who I'm quite fond of. So they could have been like pay-as-you-play mates, him and Andy Carroll. That would have worked out well for me. And let's not forget, mates.
That could be a new one, lads. Pay-as-you-play mates. I like that. Sounds good.
Literally just forced that.
I could see it there coming. I could see.
Yeah, you can keep that. So yeah, I would definitely have taken a chance on him because, as I've said many a time about Andy Carroll in the past, I think the pay-as-you-play deals, the limited risk. If he doesn't play and he's injured, as we all expect him to be, there's no real, the only thing that you lose out on really is the squad place. And let's be honest, we've got a lot of midfielders in that squad at Newcastle who we wouldn't even want in the squad. So really, would it have been a big miss to have a Jack Wilshere available? And especially, as you say, if John Joe Shelvey had taken over John Joe Shelvey all day, the way he's playing at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'd have done a job for a lot of Premier League clubs, by the way, not just Newcastle. You could argue any of the bottom 10, 12. He could probably get into most of the midfields, I'd say.
It'll be interesting to see what he does at Bournemouth. Put it that way.
It will.
Let's keep an eye on him over the next few shows. Yeah. Let's see what he does.
Yeah. For me, I remember shooting him down straight away when you first suggested Martin, because I just thought at that time we had too many people that were injured or on the way.
Okay. I got shot down. Big stuff.
I won't do it. Let's go to the next one. This is a one that happened as well. This is Mandzukic, and he has come from a Qatari club, Al Dahal, and he's got out of his contract there, and he's joined AC Milan to link up with Zlatan. So he's now 34 years old. He's a Croatian international, 89 caps and 33 goals for Croatia. He's previously been in the big clubs like Bayern, Atletico Madrid, Juventus. So he knows what he's doing. This was an interesting. Actually, Chris, you spotted this one. Interesting stat here. So maybe I'll leave this one up on screen while we talk about it. What do you think of this new partnership, guys?
Hang on a minute. Hold on. There's a couple of things here, right? Before we
there's no typos here.
Right, there's no typos. Right. Firstly, we discussed the layout of this the other day, and you guys said I would look much better because I've got a fatter head being at the bottom, right? And we said that's fine. I get that, right? Then you said we're going to put the graphics up and we're going to flash them up. Now you're putting up, we're going to leave them. And when that's better. Now it's looking better.
Okay. Does that keep you happy?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Love that.
Listen, it's like being moved around on the match day live. Hang on a minute. Look, nearly as old as Martin. What's going on here, lads? This is the first show and I'm getting fired. First, I'm getting shot down for Wilshere. Now I'm getting told I'm nearly as old as a combined age of 73. What's going on, lads?
Look at Martin. If you could end up with a yellow card, you don't want to go into this. Let me show you what happens when you go.
Put me in the.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's better. Just get rid of him. It's fine.
Okay. So we let him back in, and we better put him back in the spot. He's happy with it. There you go.
Look at the numbers there, lads. 50 trophies between the two of them. 800 goals scored. Mandzukic is 34. Zlatan is 39. Monday night, Milan played Cagliari. Zlatan gets a brace. The goal has scored wherever he's been. A combined age of 73 for a strike force. But I tell you what, they will score goals. Mandzukic, in my opinion, is a world-class striker, no matter the age. Class is permanent, lads. And he, some of the goals he scored, the overhead kick that he scored, I think, was that where was the overhead kick he scored, lads?
Was that when he played Sweden against England?
Yeah, and then Mandzukic got one. Who was the one Mandzukic got against? Was it the same? Wasn't the same game as Ronaldo's one in the Champions League? He scored. I know he did. Mandzukic did score. Although Mandzukic did score that game, didn't he? But it wasn't an overhead. Maybe I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Look, I think that's a quality signing for Milan, top of the league, and the boy. Obviously Zlatan still producing the goods. So yeah, great signing.
Okay. Cool. So Chris, will you just keep an eye on the scores? Are any scores come in?
Yeah, do you know what? I am keeping an eye on the scores, but I'm waiting.
We're desperate for a goal. We have
had a goal. We've had a goal.
We had a goal.
Hang on, Chris.
Go!
Oh,
go!
That's like Chris's. You are the Chris Kamara. It's like, what do you mean? It's been a substitute, Jeff. I wasn't watching.
Do you know what? We said that we might set that up because it might be funny, and it's genuinely happened. Yes, so there has been a goal. So Livingston have equalised against Celtic, so it's now 2-2. So all the Rangers fans will be loving that. Yeah.
All right, there we go. So we set it all up. You had one job tonight, which was to flash up the goals, and we missed it.
Yeah. But on a plus, I am fully in charge of the Fulham Man United game. I can confirm that it's still 1-1.
Okay, very good. That was good. But listen, it's a work in progress, as they say in certain parts of the Northeast.
As we go. Anyway. Lads, it's time to move on. I think it's time to move to...
Gloves are off next week.
Loaded leaderboard!
Chris, I thought we said we weren't letting you all wife on.
Love that. Okay, so this is. Oh, I've got to explain this now. Okay, we actually Martin came up with a mathematical formula for the point system here, and we just said screw that. Let's go with something a bit more simple. So what we're going to do is actually I'm going to turn my banner off first because you're not going to be able to see the fixtures otherwise. Smooth. This is smooth in the first day. Okay, so these what we're going to do is we're going to look at the fixtures for the coming week, and now our week is going to take us up to this day next week. So we're going to say a win, either a home win or away win. It doesn't, whatever you select, or a draw. So it's going to be if we get the result right, as in not the score, but the actual who wins, or if it's going to be a draw correct, you get 1 point. So this week we're just going to play the game amongst ourselves. So maybe we'll go through the fixtures one by one and see what we make of it. So the first game is Liverpool-Burnley. For me, I'm going for Liverpool here.
Yeah, I'll go with a Liverpool win.
Chris?
It's got to be a Liverpool win, hasn't it? It's got to be a Liverpool win. And knowing us after what we've been saying about Salah and the front three, they'll probably all score about 4.
Yeah. You can write a book on it. Yeah. Okay.
Next up then is Villa Newcastle. For me, I'm going to say a draw.
Okay. I am going to go for a Villa win.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, the 20th of January at 21:33, and Steve Bruce is still Newcastle manager. Therefore, I'm going to go for a Villa home win.
Okay, we're on the same page. Moving swiftly along.
Moving on from that one. Let's go to the Tuesday game. So it's Palace versus West Ham. I'm going to say a West Ham win there.
Yeah, I will also, Daz, agree with you. I think West Ham 7th in the league. David Moyes is doing something. So yeah, West Ham win for me.
I'm going to say a draw. I think West Ham are due to drop some points. I think they've won the last 2 games, haven't they? So yeah. I think it's about time they have the draw. So I'm going to say draw.
Okay.
Yes, we get to talk about Newcastle again. Newcastle.
So we have to. I thought this was a different show, lads. Come on.
Okay, you can't. It's the fixture list. I'm going to say Leeds win here after that 5-2 before. It's a Leeds win for me.
I will be slightly optimistic, even though we probably won't, but I'll go for a draw.
Chris?
We've
no money on this, Chris. It's okay.
Yeah, you don't have to pay us, Chris, if you lose. It's fine.
No, do you know what? I'm really competitive, which you'll find out as the weeks go on. I hate losing. So I'm gonna be optimistic, and I'm gonna say a Newcastle win because I've got a sneaky feeling that Mr. Bruce might not be in charge.
Ooh, okay. Inside information?
No. I tried ringing Steve before, but he never answered.
Yeah, no. I know the feeling.
I didn't really.
No.
We'll move on. We'll go to Southampton, Arsenal. I'm going to say a Southampton win here.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I kind of get the sneaky feeling it could be Southampton, but Arsenal could be going on a little run. I know they've been inconsistent, and Kendall and the girls are talking about it the other night, but yeah, I'm going to go for an Arsenal win.
Chris, on the fence. Jamie Redknapp off the show.
I was, but you know what? I'm gonna agree with Martin. I'm gonna say an Arsenal win. Aubameyang broke his duck the other night. We won't say against who, and I think he could be back in form now. And they've got some cracking youngsters, Arsenal now, haven't they? They've got that Saka, they've got Emile Rose-Smith. They've got Tierney down the left. They've got some cracking young players, Arsenal, and I think the fact that they've not been able to pick more of their old heads has worked to their advantage. So I think Arsenal will be bang up for it, and yeah, I'm going to say Arsenal.
Okay. Next up then is West Brom versus Man City, and I'm going to go Man City here all day long.
Yeah, hard to see past them. Obviously, they played tonight, 2-0 win. Phil Foden, for me, has been outstanding so far this season for City. So hard to see anything other than a Man City win for me.
I'm going to go Man City as well. I think, yeah, it's got to be Man City all day, hasn't it? And hopefully they do Newcastle a favour by beating West Brom.
Okay. Let's move on to the next Wednesday. And if we get commissioned for a second show, we'd be on that night. If anyone's watching this. Hang
on, that's a lot of scores now. Like, I mean, to be fair, Chris is struggling with only 2 tonight and missed the goal. So, like, are we seriously going to put him in charge next week of watching? How many fixtures is that, Daz? Are we going to put him in charge of looking after all of them?
I blame live scores. It's not my fault.
That's only the Premier League. We're doing all the European leagues next year. Week.
I'll be all over it.
We may bring a guest on, lads.
I'll be the third division in Brazil by then. No bother.
Let's go look at Burnley Villa. It's Villa for me here. Shout out to Nathan, who's living in Burnley.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'll show a little bit of loyalty to me Burnley bro down the road. So I'm going to go for a Burnley win.
Oh,
I'm going to say draw.
Okay. Next, moving on, let's look at Chelsea Wolves. They're both not doing great, are they? I'm going to go draw here in this one. Play it safe. We'll go for draw.
Oh, God. This is a tough one. I'll go for a Chelsea win.
Yeah, I think Frank Lampard's under a bit of pressure at the moment, isn't he? And I think Chelsea need that win.
I think they need a result
the other night. Yeah, I think Chelsea will win. And Wolves are a bit hit and miss, aren't they? Sometimes they're great, sometimes they don't turn up. So yeah, I'm going to say Chelsea.
I think Werner's due a goal as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. Let's look at Brighton Fulham. Fulham are starting to pick it up a bit. Brighton aren't struggling, but Lamptey's injured. I wonder when he's back on the hamstring injury. I'm going to play it safe again and go for a draw here.
Goal!
Yes. Now that, Mr. Hall, was perfect.
That was amazing, wasn't it? Goal!
It was, yeah.
Okay, we're going to break away from our fixture list. Chris, talk us through the goal, or tell us about what the goal was.
Okay, so I'm watching live. You wouldn't have thought I was 5 minutes ago, but I am. And Man United have just scored at Craven Cottage to make it 2-1. So Pogba picks it up on the far right. He's cut inside. Oh, lovely. He's hit it diagonally with his left foot from about 25 yards out. Nice goal.
Okay. Nice.
2-1 Man United. 25 to play.
I never thought I'd be celebrating a Man United goal, but
I know, yeah.
We need it.
But we will.
Lovely goal.
So where did we leave off? I said a draw.
We were on Brighton.
Who was speaking?
Yeah, it's me to go. Do you know what? I'm going to take a Fulham win. I think they're a decent little team, and I think their position doesn't really give him justice. I think interesting thing as well, just a quick one there as well. Obviously, Lamberty's new 5-year contract with Brighton.
Yeah,
good little player. So that's a good new deal for if you're a Brighton fan, I think. By the way, but yeah, I'll take a Fulham win, lads.
Fulham win. And Chris,
I'm going to say Brighton win. I know Neil Maupay was missing for a little bit for Brighton, but he seems to be back in favour. He scored the other day, so I'm going to say Brighton home win.
Okay. Let's move on to Everton Leicester. Both doing well. I'm going to go for Leicester, though. Leicester here for me.
Yeah, I think Leicester are flying. Great form. Good 2-0 win against Chelsea. Look, Maddison is just outstanding. So for me, Leicester win.
Okay, I'm going to go against the grain here, boys. I'd excuse the accent for any new people watching. This isn't because I support Everton. I fancy Everton for this one. Again, Leicester, they've recently won the last 2 games, both with clean sheets, I believe. So I'm going to say Everton home win. I don't want to, but I'm going to say Everton home win.
Yeah, all right. And I'd just like to say, for a lad from Wigan, I think your accent's all right, mate.
Let's move on to the next one, and the last one in our fixtures for this week is Man United, Sheffield United. For me, it's a Man United win.
Yeah, Man United home win.
Same, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke then and say I'm going to no, I want to win. Man United home win.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So let's get rid of that fixture list. Let me get my banner back on again, and I want to tell you about this actually. Yeah, as well as hitting that like button and hitting subscribe to Steve's channel, if you can also follow us on Loaded Football. In time, we'll have our own YouTube channel. We haven't actually set up, but we won't release the link yet. We want to build our subscribers on Loaded Football on Twitter first, but in time we'll give you that link. So lads, I think it's time that we move to another section. And I know I've ignored those questions for a while, but I will get back to them in time. So our next section is, I find my pictures. Ready, Martin?
Yeah. Loaded lunacy.
Loaded lunacy. And what's all that about?
Oh, is that me
back
now?
in your box as well.
It's back in my box. Yeah. Loaded lunacy. Right. So what we want to do is we want to try and generate as much interaction both on the podcast and outside of the pod as we can. So what we want you guys and girls who are watching to do is send us bits and pieces. So you can send it by a DM. We will, over the next couple of shows, give you an email account you can send it to. But you can certainly DM us at Loaded Football on Twitter. You can DM each of us on our own Twitter accounts, and we'll get them thrown up later on. But what we want you to send us is just anything that you find that is funny. So if you see something in a football game, very similar, third eye, you find some referee trips, ball into, groundsman's face, anything like that you think is hilarious, get it sent in to us. Send us your funny videos. The other thing we want you to do is we want you to have a look at the goals. Think about goals that have been and gone. And we want you to get out in your backyard while we're in lockdown, get out with the kids, and we want you to recreate a goal of your choice. So it can be Ronaldo's overhead in the Champions League. It could be Rooney's overhead against Man City. It could be Shearer's toe poke for his 201st. Whatever you want to do, get the kids out there, get yourselves out, get involved, and send us your clips, get your recreations done. Other thing we want you to do is if you want to do impressions, if you want to come on and you want to give it your best impression of any of the football stars, or even me, Chris, and Daz, or even our very kind co-host on NUFC Matters, the baldy lass, Steve Wraith himself. Now, it has been known, let's be said, I have done an odd little repertoire of Mr. Steve Wraith on an odd show. And who knows, he may well pop back in a show in the future. But get them out there. Send us your funny. Loaded Lunacies is just about having a bit of a laugh. It is what it is. Send us your bits and pieces. And what we're going to do is, as we get those, the following week, me and the lads are going to pick out a winner. The best funny thing, the best bit of Loaded Lunacy. We'll put a few bits up. We're going to pick out the winner. And hopefully along the weeks, we'll have a few bits and pieces to give away. And we will start to pop out a few prizes. So we have kindly been given a couple of bits by our good friend John at QTech. And he has given us a NUFC mug. And he's also given us a Super Mac t-shirt. Obviously, the mug is being very kindly modelled there by Daz, and a flick up of the t-shirt. Now, as we move on, we won't be doing NUFC stuff all the time. We are going to mix it up. But they're the two prizes we've got. So get out there, get your funnies into us, drop us a DM over the next kind of 7 days, send them into us. We'll get them up because, to be honest, it's only going to go so long, us three chatting with each other. So we need to get a few bits in that we can bring a bit of fun, bit of a laugh to it, and a bit of a giggle. So we want your interaction. Come and join us and come and get involved with the show. So that's Loaded Lunacy. Lads, what do you want to add to that?
How do you add to that? I think you said it all, Martin.
There you go.
We just want something funny, something that'll make us laugh, something that'll give you a laugh. This show isn't. We're not going to take ourselves too seriously here. We're not looking to leave the shows we're on. Even though if Sky and BT make us amazing offers like they have done in the past, we want to stick with the funny stuff for a while. So get them into us, and we'll we look forward to seeing what you send us on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I've already got a few ideas I've shared with the lads. I'd love to do, a little cameo of me, perhaps trying to do a crossbar challenge. So if anyone out there wants to do crossbar challenge, kicky up challenge, anything that you want to send through, as I say, we'd love to receive it. And the idea is for us to all just have a little bit of fun, a little bit of light relief, and just something nice on hump day, because we're on every Wednesday, so it's nice, for us to just sit back, enjoy, and just watch what we're doing.
All right.
Cool. I'm just looking at the comments here.
We want to throw a few questions up.
Yeah, I'll see if we get a nice question here. A lot of comments. Good comment here from Keith Roll.
Yep.
Mandzukic come back to haunt his old club. Juve, especially if AC Milan win Serie A this year. He is a 4-time Serie A champion with Juve and got the winner against England in the World Cup. Good comment there, Keith.
Absolutely.
I'm scrolling back through the comments.
Thanks for the comment, Keith.
It's a cracking start, isn't it?
Yeah, I think another good thing is we've actually got people commenting on, because we were sat pre-show going, nobody's going to watch this. Mm-hmm. So look, fair play those who are popping in questions and those who are watching first show. Do you know what, lads? Those that are watching and those that are popping up the questions, can I just say thanks very much, because we were slightly worried going into this, the three of us, that going off on our own little tangents and everything else. So look, fair play to anybody that is watching and is popping up the questions and is following us and popping onto Twitter and stuff. So listen, fair play.
We have a question, because a lot of our interactions have been comments, which are great. But we have a question here. Premier League winners. So maybe we'll go around the house. We'll start with you, Chris. Sitting in Liverpool, who do you think is going to win the Premier League?
Nicely, what really pleases me, it's nice to not have to utter the words Liverpool, because I actually don't think Liverpool are going to win it. So, yeah, I know, bold statement. And
controversial in your house, Chris.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm really pleased to be able to say that, to be honest, because at the start of the season, for me, Liverpool had the best squad in the league, and certainly, you could argue they were one of the best. The way they were playing, they were one of the best teams in Europe. But I feel this season, especially since John Stones has come back in for City, I feel like City have really upped it a notch, and tonight's game just kind of typified that for me. They played against a very good Aston Villa side, and they managed to grind that win out. Now, last season they drew that or possibly lost it, and I feel like City are on a bit of a roll now. So I'm gonna say Man City for me.
Ooh. Do you know what? It's to be fair to Dave, I think that's a really hard question because it could be any one of 4 or 5. If I wanted to push a button for certain fan bases out there and say, well, I'd love to see the top 6 broken up, then I'd love to see Brendan Rodgers take Leicester back to the title. I think Brendan Rodgers is a quality manager. I think he's got Leicester on the front foot, getting them playing really well. So I'd love to see Leicester win it, but Man City are on a roll. But I have a sneaky feeling I think Man United could do a little something. I could be wrong. I've probably just jinxed it for him. So if you're a Man United
fan,
good,
that's okay.
Yeah, but Leicester, I'd love to see Leicester, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Man U up there. Yeah.
And Tom Dixon agrees with you, Chris, and I also agree with Tom. I think it's going to be Man City to win the league, and I won't go into the details why, but the viewers have heard our pleas, and there's loads of questions coming now.
Oh my God.
And not all from the same person, are they?
No. Maybe I'll pick another one or two here. God, this you could do a whole show on this one. Most overrated player at any club. That's one question. Maybe we'll pick another tough question. 3 promoted from the Championship. Who's your 3 there? We should note these down as well, lads. Maybe we'll come back to them if we don't get to answer them tonight.
Let's come back to the 3 promoted from the Championship for next week.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to have on.
But if you want most overrated player in the Premier League, for me, Paul Pogba. But that's just me.
Very important question here, Chris, for you, especially you've been very competitive. Who's going to win this loaded leaderboard?
Me?
Yeah.
No, well, I hope it's me, but you never know. Do you know what? I'd have a bet on me.
Really? Okay. Backing yourself?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to be positive.
Okay. You're going to do your homework every week. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to take away that question first of all.
I'm going to say, just on mine, I'm going to say Daz is going to win it purely because he's doing the scoring.
He might fiddle with the video.
If it works out better, I get we'll use your system, Martin, the complicated one. Yeah. Anyway, guys, let's move on here. Let's move on to, and I think it's me for this one. Loading next week. Okay, we didn't rehearse these. They get worse. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. So what do we have coming next week? More of the same, I presume. We might have a few guests, lads. What do you think?
Top 3 Championship clubs, probably.
Yeah, top 3 Championship clubs. So that'll be there. We'll have a first round of scores in from Loaded Leaderboard. So
we'll have loads of videos from people.
We will. Hopefully, we'll have viewer interaction and a few videos and a few bits. Can I just throw in? Here's a question. I'd like to pose a question to those out there watching. And I'd like to link it to Loaded Leaderboard. Whoever loses Loaded Leaderboard out of the 3 of us, whoever finishes rock bottom, do the viewers out there and those that will follow us on Twitter, would they like to see the loser do a forfeit of some sort?
Can we rule out John Justice Allen and have any comment here?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
He's not allowed.
Yes. Coming up with the forfeit does not apply
and
to
anyone from NUFC Matters.
And anybody on the NUFC Matters panel. Absolutely, yeah. So look, again, let's get a bit of interaction. Loaded Leaderboard. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to see one of us 3 do some kind of a forfeit, maybe we can link it to something. If we do a forfeit, maybe we can set something up and raise a few bob and do something for a couple of local food banks or a local kids hospital somewhere around the country, either Ireland or the UK. What do you think, lads?
Yeah, definitely. Lovely idea. Yeah.
So get your bits in, guys, on Twitter and stuff, and tell us what you think we should be doing as a forfeit when Daz loses at the end of the season.
Now I'm going to have to really look at these. Guys, I think it's time to call it a night tonight. I just want to say a bit of thanks. I want to say thanks to Steve Wraith for allowing us to use his studio. Thanks, Steve. Big up to Steve Wraith.
Thank you, Steve.
Make sure you follow all these shows. We're on half them, or Well, you're on. You're not on every show, Chris.
Yeah. Chris is on every show now.
As well.
Yeah.
But no, big thanks to Steve and everyone and the regular viewers as well from NUFC Matters that have come and joined us today. And if you know of anyone else that would be interested in a show like this, send them our way. Send them a link, retweet, whatever needs to happen. But that's for me. Just and thanks for all the support, and thanks guys for putting up with me as well as we try to put this first show together.
Great job, mate.
Well done with the buttons, Daz.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you off to be?
Do you want to say anything in close out?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? No, it's funny. It's funny you say actually, because I keep thinking about that question of the most overrated player in the Premier League, and do you know what? It's such a cracking question, but I don't want to just blurt out an answer. I'll have to really think about it. Yeah, really, it's a cracking question. Cracking question.
Yeah. Let's come back to it next week.
Yeah.
And sorry, Chris, while we're on you, Chris, any more goals?
It's probably about 3-0, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay, there's been a red card. There hasn't been a goal. There hasn't been a goal, lads, in fairness.
We have a red card. Who's the red card for?
The red card is for Celtic. The captain, Scott Brown. He's off. So it's a nearly 5 minutes. Nearly 5 minutes now.
Still 2-2?
Still 2-2. Livingston at home to Celtic. And yeah, the captain, Scott Brown's been sent off a couple of minutes ago. So, the Rangers fans will be cheering on Livingston for these final minutes. And in the Premier League, as I've been watching, Man United are still 2-1 up. And they have 8 minutes to go.
Spot on. I think just from me then, Daz, just before we finish up, couple of quick shout outs. Obviously to John Justice Allen, got to us just before the show went on and gave us a few bits to get us started. So listen, thanks very much. Know you do a lot for the other shows, but look, me and the two boys certainly appreciate the reach outs. We got loads of good wishes going on tonight from regulars and from a lot of other people on Twitter on our own accounts. So I just want to say thanks for that. Looking forward to doing the next show, and hopefully we get some guests on. But if you're out there, if you're a fan, get in touch with us on Twitter. If you fancy coming on one of the pods, doing a couple of bits, we've got a lot of other stuff coming up. A lot of other stuff coming up. We've got 60-second quiz. We're gonna, debut a bit of music. Daz is going to take us through a couple of bits now. But look, this show is not just all about us. It's about a bit of guest participation as well, and getting people up here on the pods and going through stuff with us. So just a massive shout out. Thanks to everyone, and in particular the two boys that's on with me tonight. I've really enjoyed it. And it's been a good first show. So I look forward to next week, lads.
Yeah, can't wait.
Thanks, cheers, guys. Thanks for everyone for watching. We're going to play Jace Campbell's single "Lost." You might have heard it on Steve Wraith's show the other day. Martin got permission. I hope you got permission, Martin, to play it again. So he told us he did. Sorry, Jace. Yeah.
But, fair play. In fairness, yeah. Shout out to Jace, who sent me a really nice DM. And I'm hoping I've got to chat to him next week. So I'm hoping we're going to get him on and get him to do the 60-second quiz and that. So yeah, fair play, Jace. Shout out to you, mate.
Belter song as well, Jace. Belter song. I've got it on my Spotify. I've been listening to it ever since the other night when we first came on. Cracking song. Well, you'll all hear it now anyway.
Yep. Right, go on, Dad.
It's a good night from me, and take care, everybody.
From me.
Take care. Thanks for watching.
Later, boys.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for watching.